What is up, Power Ranger fans? Welcome to Off the Grid, a Power Rangers podcast. I'm your host, Jacob Bartley, and this is a show where we talk all things Power Rangers, whether that be television, any movie-related content, collectibles, and of course the comics. Comics are the greatest thing going on in Power Rangers right now. How's everybody doing today? Thank you for checking out this video. And please don't forget, subscribe to this YouTube channel if you have not already. I'm going to be covering all Power Rangers content going forward, so definitely stay tuned and look out for that. Today, we are specifically going to be talking Mighty Morphin number 5, and lately, I have been reviewing these comics on the Wednesday that they come out. And if you know when the comics come out, then you realize this one is a week late. And so I'm playing a little bit of catch up, but it was weird. I looked up the release dates for Mighty Morphin number 5 and Power Rangers number 5. And I just Googled them and they said they came out in April. So I was like, oh, okay. They must be skipping a month for some reason. Maybe they had to take a break or something. All right, so I got some time. I'm going to just keep reviewing Dino Fury until the next issue comes out. And then I started seeing reviews for Mighty Morphin number 5 on YouTube, and I'm like, wait a minute, what? It's out. And then I looked it up, and it looks like Mighty Morphin number 5 actually came out last Wednesday on the 10th. And I do have to look up, let's see, Power Rangers number 5, because it gets confusing when you look them up. If I type in Power Rangers number 5, it tries to bring up the original Mighty Morphin number 5 on Comixology, because those release dates are pretty accurate on Comixology. But if you look up Power Rangers, it brings up the original Mighty Morphin line. And okay, so we have Power Rangers issue number 5 here coming soon, March 24th. Okay, so next the March 24th episode will be so that's next week, will be on Power Rangers number 5, but we are talking Mighty Morphin number 5 this week. So let's get into it. There's no big news, no collectible news necessarily, and also Power Rangers Dino Fury is on a week off, which I also did not know. I was planning on doing half the show on Mighty Morphin number 5 and then half the show on Dino Fury episode 4. But they took a break this week, so we're just talking Mighty Morphin number 5. So let's get to it. Big things going on in the comics right now. As we know, if you watched my show before, I took a victory lap when Matt was announced as the Green Ranger, or revealed as the Green Ranger, I should say. I had been predicting that for years, like literally since 2018. I've been predicting that. And 3 years later, it's true. And couldn't be happier about that. Not just because I was right, but because I love it. And this issue just kind of captures why I love this. Honestly, this issue right here, Mighty Morphin number 5, is the best thing they've put out since Shattered Grid, in my opinion. Revealing Matt as the Green Ranger is the biggest revelation and the best thing they've done since Shattered Grid ended. I didn't think about that before I did this, but now that I'm thinking about it, it's the case. And there's so much that we learn in this issue. So it starts off 5 weeks before the last issue's events, where Matt revealed himself to the public and as the Green Ranger, because he felt like, well, first of all, Lord Zed put a bubble over Angel Grove and he locked all the citizens in, and the Power Rangers had to escape. So they were basically, it looks like they were abandoning the town. So the town's stuck in there. The Rangers are at the command center, and as far as we know, from last issue, the Green Ranger's inside the bubble with Angel Grove and all the citizens. We find out in this issue that Matt was actually teleported to Promethea, and we're kind of jumping to the end. And by the way, this is full spoilers if you didn't know that already. Matt teleported to Promethea, and Grace was planning on holding him there, and he basically begs her to let him go back and be with the people in Angel Grove because he doesn't want to feel like they were abandoned. He doesn't want them to feel that way. So that is, first of all, that is awesome in its own right. But when we go back to 5 weeks, so there was a battle where we see Matt pushing somebody out of the way, and then we see him in Promethea. And man, this Grace character, she is pretty like, she's kind of like Nick Fury, but even more hardcore because she just does not, at least she portrays herself like she does not care about sentimental things at all. She's just like straight to business, let's go. And there's a few things that she says in this issue, like basically, hey, if you're not up for this, Matt, I could just draft somebody else. Like, let's get it together. And basically saying if he dies, next man up. So that's pretty, I don't know if that's a front on her end, but it's pretty hardcore, honestly. So basically, and I bring that up because he gets to Promethea, and she's like, you want to be a Green Ranger? Let's go. We don't have time to like do a whole song and dance routine. Let's just get straight to it. You could die. You want to do it? Let's go. And he's like, well, and basically she's like, the Power Rangers need your help. And he knows that the identity of the Power Rangers. He's friends with them from school. And he's mad at them that they lied to him, but he knows who they are. He's like the only one who knows who they are. So he's like, yeah, I mean, what am I supposed to do? I'm going to go help my friends. Boom. And when we first see the Green Ranger show up, we get to see this. So we're kind of seeing all those moments where the Green Ranger has shown up so far, the Matt Green Ranger, from his and Grace perspective, which is pretty cool. And we get to see the Lord Zed fight, and she's talking to him in his earpiece, and he's like, I'm not a fighter. And we do know that the power of the Power Rangers, once you morph, your abilities are enhanced, right? You're stronger, you're faster, you can jump really high. So obviously it elevates any skills that you already have. And I really like what they did here because, look, like Jason, Tommy, Trini are all martial artists. So they all have hand-to-hand combat experience. I'm pretty sure they train Billy, Kimberly, but Kimberly is already a gymnast. And Zach's kind of like an athlete in his own right. So he's like a dancer. I mean, I don't know if the comics have him like as a dancer, and they all kind of know karate. But Matt's like, I'm not a fighter. I don't know how to fight. And then she's like, I've seen you play football. You are an athlete. So just, use your natural abilities. And I thought that was pretty cool because it's true. Like if you're an athlete, fighting is something that you would be better at than somebody who's not athletic. So I thought that was cool. And we find out, so this was a big thing. If you remember, back when they started teasing a new Green Ranger and Grace and Billy were deciding who it should be, they were saying, I have somebody in mind, and Billy was like, I have somebody in mind, and then they were kind of arguing about who they should choose. And it's revealed here, Grace tells Matt that you weren't my first choice, but you'll do, basically, and Billy was the one who chose him. And we know that Billy has been in on this the whole time, so he's going to have to pay the repercussions from that. But, we get to see Billy and Matt talk. So he meets him. He says, I think I have you to thank for this. And he gets to meet the Dragon Zord. So we learn a little bit about this. He says he enhanced the Dragon Dagger. And then basically, we never really got insight into this. So Billy tells him, hold it up to your mask and you'll kind of hear the tune in your head. So it's kind of like a natural thing that kind of just happens. If you're the Green Ranger, you have the flute, things like that. So he just holds it up and he starts playing the sound. And then even though the Zords they look robotic and mechanical, it's always been implied that they are sentient beings, that they're alive. So this is kind of like an animal coming out of the water, like a Godzilla coming out of the water. And it was pretty cool. And I like that he's like, "Hey, buddy, nice to meet you," and touching him. So I really like that scene. That was maybe the most intimate scene we've seen between a Ranger and their Zord in the comics, at least that I can recall. I mean, I've read all the Power Rangers comics, but I can't recall off the top of my head if there has been one. But I just thought that was really cool. One thing that's shown a little bit earlier in the issue is we get to see Bulk and Skull, and these are all flashbacks. We get to see Bulk and Skull doing their little YouTube show and basically like interviewing people about the Green Ranger being back. And one of the people they ask is Matt, and he's like, no comment. So that was pretty cool. And one of the really good moments in this issue was when we see Matt at the juice bar, and Kimberly comes up to talk to him, and she's kind of openly talking to him about some Ranger stuff, and she's like, "Hey, we have a new Green Ranger, but we don't know who he is." And he's like, "Oh, well, that's interesting," and he kind of has to play along and not tell her that it's him, obviously. So, and that was a pretty cool moment there, and it made me like, just reminded me like, wow, they can't ever talk openly to anybody about being a Power Ranger, but it's kind of cool that they have somebody who knows. It's kind of nice for them to be able to talk to somebody about it, and that's not a Power Ranger, by the way. And she's kind of telling him that she can't imagine doing it alone, like as the Green Ranger's doing it right now. And she always had her friends with her, which is a good point. Like, ever since they got thrown into this, they all had each other, and Matt's kind of doing this on his own, even though he kind of has Grace. And then, as we saw last issue, during the Dragon Zord and White Tiger combination attempt, Zed kind of blows it up and prevents it from happening, and that's when the bubble occurs. And then this is when Matt is teleported to Promethea. And this is some great stuff because, like, he's telling her this whole time, like, I'm not a hero. And this is a theme throughout this whole issue. He keeps telling Grace, I'm not a hero. And she's like, well, you do heroic things, though. So, and then at the end, he's the one, she's like, no, I'm keeping you here. And he's the one, no, teleport me back in. Basically, she says, we can only teleport in, we can't teleport out. Now that the bubble is fully up. So he's like, no, send me back. I'm going to go in. I'm going to reveal myself to the people. And earlier in the issue, Grace tells him that she doesn't like the Rangers' rules. Some of the Rangers' rules. So he reminds her, hey, you said you don't like their rules. Let's reveal my identity. Show these people that I'm just like them. I'm not a random alien. And that I have their back and I'm in there with them. And basically tying back into him saying he's not a hero. But look at him doing like the most heroic thing while the other Rangers because they got so damaged, they're out into the at the command center. So this was a great issue. It was really clever how they kind of did all the flashbacks, but showing it from Matt's perspective, now knowing that it's Matt. So that was pretty cool. I absolutely love this issue. How about you guys? Let me know in the comment section what you think. I would really appreciate it. Do you agree with me? Do you think this is the best issue in a long time? I do. I'm super stoked and really excited to see moving forward because, when I was reading the end where Matt's telling her that, hey, I'm gonna reveal my identity. I need these people to know that I'm a human being just like them. It kind of, to me, it changed the landscape because now it's like, okay, people are gonna know that the Green Ranger's a human. Are they going to be suspicious of the other Rangers? It kind of changed the whole landscape of Power Rangers moving forward in the comics. So I'm excited to see where it goes. Again, thank you for watching. This is Off the Grid, a Power Rangers podcast. I am Jacob Bartley. Don't forget to subscribe if you like all things Power Rangers. We're going to be talking about a bunch of stuff here going forward. And yeah, look out next week. Next episode, we'll be talking about Power Rangers number 5 and Power Rangers Dino Fury episode 4, and I'll see you then. Until then, may the power protect you.